Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Fifth Red Tarot. Um, I am a little late in bringing you your weekly reading, but I have to say, I actually did do a reading over the weekend, but it seemed as if every time I did a reading, the reading was a little more specific. Um, It was very specific. And usually when I ask for collective reading and it gets specific, that means it's either for me or it's for like one other or one or two other people, something like that. So, um, it is probably about almost 2 o'clock Eastern time. Um, and I believe today is the full moon. This is the moon goes into full mode or phase. Um, so I wanted to just be in a time, like in a time space that was a little more conducive to spirit's time. So let's go ahead and get started. I hope you all have had a wonderful week so far. I know we're living in new times and trying to navigate new waters. The readings that I've had lately, especially back in January, February timeframe, I know a lot of those readings were about um, building towards something ecologically sound, working with the earth's energies. I've done a few shamanic readings. I actually did did another one last week, but and it was so crazy. And that's why I get the understanding that some of the readings that I've been trying to do for the collective have been specific for me. But when I looked at a shamanic reading, I interpreted another dream. Um, that dream, that recording, it was so mind blowing. And when I went to post it, um, someone sent me a text and I closed out my app, the YouTube app that I was editing in, thinking that I would go back and it would be there like I don't know why I thought that, but yeah, that's essentially it disappeared. So, good times, right? So I'm going to go ahead and let's get this reading started. I call on the elements of earth, the spirit of the element of earth, the spirit of the element of water, the spirit of the element of fire, and the spirit of the element of air. And I also call on the spirit that unites them all, the spirit of nature, the spirit of universal connection and energy. All right. Thank you, Spirit, for coming into this reading. Please use me as a channel to give a message to the collective for this week and beyond. It's timeless reading. Any kind of information they can get from this reading, I thank you in advance, and they thank you as well. Thank you, Spirit, so much. All right, let's get going. Spirit, Can you give me some cards for today's reading? Thank you, Spirit. Yes. Whoa. Ooh, there we go. Okay. Spirit, can I get a card for today's reading? A message for the collective, please, Spirit. There we go. Wow. Wow. All right. Spirit, can we get some cards for the collective, please? Okay. This is what we have. First card up is the Ace of Pentacles. Next card up, if I can get it off, is the Ace of Wands. Next card up is the Five of Swords. Then we have the Strength card and the Sun. Wow. I overall am going to say that this is a really, really good reading. First off, we have the Ace of Pentacles. Actually, we have two aces. So what we're looking at here is divine beginnings. We are entering the sweets of of the pentacles and the wands. I'm just going to prop those up there so you can see them a little better. Yeah, that's a little better. So the Ace of Pentacles is a divine beginning in earth, divine beginning in we're getting an offer to work with the earth. We're getting a new world. We're getting a new way of being. And that's true of us right now. What's followed by that is a new passion, a new goal, new what's the word? Like, so if we think about in America, everybody talks about the great American dream, right? And the great American dream would be, having, the standard nuclear family, owning a house, having a good job, being able to retire and live off of retirement, that kind of thing. But what we're looking at here is not just a changed way, but a new way of measuring the dream, because we're now working with the earth. So the Ace of Wands is saying, the Ace of Wands is essentially saying we are moving away from, and again, for an example, the American dream, right? Instead of it being a house, nuclear family, and high paying job, what we're looking at is, how are we building with the earth? How are we co-creating with the earth? How are we in relationship with the earth? And the way that how are we using Earth's resources? How are we in our daily lives including that in, is the earth healthy in relation to how we are living? We are essentially making new milestones, new goalposts, new mile markers, essentially, of if we are living our lives in a way that is earth friendly. So I really like that as a beginning. But the third card out presents presents a little bit of a different part of the story. What is being asked of us? Excuse me, that's in the way. So, with the Five of Swords, what's being asked of us in order to have this new beginning with the earth and the milestones is having to cut off um, alliances and collaborations. We're going to have to, we'll have to cut some things off. We'll have to leave some things behind. We'll have to let go of some our old, like thoughts and ideas that aren't working. We're going to have to cut them off. Things that aren't in alignment with this new earth and these new passions and this new way of being. The thoughts that are behind this are not supportive of this new way, and we're gonna have to um, cut off ways of thinking and the people that even subscribe to those old ways of thinking, because they're not going to be helpful in our moving forward. Okay, and the number 5 is about a halfway point. This is on the way to change. This is where the dial starts turning, right? Okay, so the last two cards are the Strength card and the Sun. And the story that's coming out here is that as we have these new beginnings and these new mile markers and goals, we begin to look to our real strengths. We begin to we get on the path of, once we accept the offer of new milestones and cutting off old collaborations and old thoughts and ideas, we move into a mode of strength, of in I want to say insane amounts of courage, but that, because these are major arcana cards, it basically indicates that what is promised to us in the beginning of the Ace of Pentacles, this new earth, this new passion, this divine guidance, this divine energy that comes in the beginning, promises us strength, peace with our surroundings, peaceful accordance with our surroundings. And the Sun is happiness. We are promised new life and strength if we accept this divine new earth, divine new passion. But the key in this reading, the very important part of this reading, is being able to let go of old thoughts and ways of being. And in this card, I do see a lot of stubbornness. If we are resistant to letting go of old thoughts and ideas, it's not going to be helpful for us to get to this, living in accordance with the earth, happiness, peacefulness, having sunshine and, sunflowers and babies riding horses, right? Because these are two very good cards to get in any reading, really. But ultimately, our strength in accepting the divine offer of working with the earth and the divine passion and guidance. And honestly, I don't know why I'm also seeing divine truth here. Interesting. Like a divine truth has changed. Yes. Yeah. The connection between the Ace of Wands and the Five of Swords here is becoming a little clearer to me now. Because what's happening is there is the letting go of the idea that there is one correct way. The earth is working with passion. And the passion is the truth of this existence. And the truth is going to help us set us free from old thoughts and ideas and leads us to strength and to the sun. Again, this is simply, to me, living in accordance with the earth, living with the wild beings, living with nature, making the ground fertile where we are. And in turn, that brings about the sun, that brings about happiness, that brings about peace, that brings about the life that you have always dreamt about and wished for. All right, so I'm going to put this down, put these to the side really quickly, and let's look at the bottom of the deck and see what this reading is all about. Aha! Look at what we've got here. And these are the actually two cards that I've been dreaming about these cards, oddly enough. So I'll pull out the second card that came out too, because these are two very cards that I've been seeing in readings over the past maybe 4 or 5 days. But I do feel this is a collective message. This is a summary of the collective message. There's the Tower, which is a major arcana card. The Tower is all about, I want to say that the Tower is very much this marriage between, this connection that I'm seeing between the Ace of Wands card and the Five of Swords. If we look at the Tower, we see it's been struck by lightning. The head of the tower is fallen, and we see a woman and a man falling out of the tower. The tower is on fire. Essentially, what we're seeing is a breakdown of something that we've built our foundation on. We've built our understanding of life, something that we have been very much attached to, an idea of how we should live our lives, how we go about our daily business. The idea that we have built, years and years of our lives on, years of policy, years of investing time, years of hard work and dedication, something that we are very much attached to is falling. Our foundation is crumbling. And the thing that we built and thinking that we were going to be protected is crumbling. But the thing about the Tower is that the Tower comes into our lives when we need it most and don't expect it. It shakes us to our very core. It is the rug pulled out from under our feet. It is something so unexpected and sometimes it's even the weirdest thing, the most unexpected thing, it's a surreal moment. If you've ever run into, I think I'm the kind of person that experiences this, but I seem to always have these surreal experiences with things that happen, in, personal life where it's like, am I really experiencing this right now? It's just like it's almost absurd how surreal it is. Um, I wish I could give you a better example, but essentially, the tower doesn't come into our lives for no reason. The tower comes in our lives to make us think about, um, it makes us think about, it makes us rethink. And again, because this is what I think this reading is about, I'm going back to this new beginning. The tower crumbles to the ground, and from that ground, we are able to re-examine where do our priorities lie? What should be the true foundation? What should we really be building upon? And that's what this reading is about for sure. And this is the perfect definition of a tower moment, because to us it looks like, the tower, when it comes in, it looks like complete devastation. Essentially, the tower is the worst thing, the thing that you were scared of most happening, and you not expecting it to happen ever. Like, because you just thought it was the most ridiculous thing that you'd ever think would happen, right? Or you wouldn't even expect this to happen. However, the Page of Wands is supporting the fact that this tower crumbling is good news. The Page of Wands, while yes, it is definitely about, you know, um, travel and adventure and passion. This is the Page of Wands, and it's a very new message. But a page is also a messenger. And, we see again the Ace of Wands, the staff, and the page is holding that wand again. And so someone is coming to remind you, this is good news. This tower crumbling and falling, this is good news. You are receiving good news. You are receiving a message about a passionate new beginning. But it's reiterating that this tower falling is for the better, for the good, and there is a way for you to now create something new, but you have to be willing, and this is the hard part. You have to be willing to end a collaboration. You have to be willing to cut something off, and you have to be willing to go on your own forward into something new. Because you see, the man in this card has, he's holding two swords in one hand and has another sword in another hand, and with three swords has essentially defeated two other people with two hands. How's that possible? He had to have outwitted them in some way, right? So I see in this card someone cutting off collaborations and ideas, someone leaving a team to maybe go off on their own. But either way, this is, as a collective energy, this is about a new beginning of how we think about our material world, our lives, and how we live them, how we work with the earth, how we express our passions, living on this earth as human beings, how we tell our truth about who we are, how we um, how we live our lives as we see fit with the earth. What have we done to exclude others? And we've created this tower that is only meant for just two people. We need to get rid of that. The world is all about every single living being in it. And the good news is that we're being given another chance to try again. Okay, so that is the reading. Let me see if there is some kind of guidance that I can give to you. I'm going to go ahead and set these down. Put this to the side. Let's see. I have not done my spirit animal deck in quite a while. I think it's probably fitting for this reading. If we read something about nature, maybe we can get an animal spirit to come in and give us a message. All right, so this is the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit Guidebook. Well, that's the guidebook to the cards. All right, go ahead and get these out. And let's see if Animal Spirit has something to say. Some guidance for this reading, please. Spirit, Animal Spirit, can you please give us some guidance? How can we move forward in this newness? Can you give us an animal that would guide us in accepting this new path, this new passion, this new truth? Okay, Spirit, can you give us a message through the Animal Spirit card? What can we expect, Spirit? Scorpion? Okay, Scorpion. Interesting. All right. I've never drawn this card before. Let me go ahead and set it up so you can see it. Scorpion. That's interesting. So as you can see, Scorpion, there's a little bit of a blast of, it looks like energy and light coming out of the Scorpion's tail. I believe the Scorpion is considered Earth, or let's see, what is the message here? Oh no, this is fire. This is fire. The element of fire has come through right now. Let's see, where are you, Scorpion? Tarantula, Panther, Lizard, Scorpion. Okay. Wow. Okay. So, Scorpion. Passionate, competitive, and tends toward isolation. The Scorpion is a passionate and determined creature. Their career is very important to them, as are a few select friends. Sometimes the Scorpion's heat festers, and they focus on an unresolved event from the past, usually a situation where they were left feeling burned. The Scorpion card says it's time to come clean about your feelings so everyone can heal and you can get back to your usual fiery but fun self. So when you're in balance, you are wild and free and fierce. But when you're out of balance, you're jealous, resentful, and unresolved. To bring into balance, practice honesty and forgiveness. Wow. Yeah, I can see that kind of isolation in this card too, where maybe if you feel like, when you end these collaborations, you'll be left alone. And that's not true. That is not true. You are being given the opportunity to rebuild. This is good news, remember? You are being given the opportunity to rebuild something that is way more than you were even building for yourself before. So go out there. Don't fear. You have the ability to handle this. Don't fear, the idea of loneliness. Be honest, be forgiving. That's the guidance in the Scorpion card. Okay? All right, everyone. Hope you have a wonderful week. I hope you are enjoying time with family, friends, and loved ones. And if you are not near those people, I hope you are reaching out and, just making yourself known and available. And yeah, I hope you are enjoying this this quarantine if you are quarantined in a healthy way. And I hope you are staying safe and sound. Okay? Thank you so much, everyone. Enjoy your week.